Hello everyone, you are welcome to Addie's Chat. It's another Friday. Thank you so much for joining me today. If this is your first time, thank you for coming to the chat. Please don't forget to subscribe. It's another Friday, it's another chat. How is everybody doing? How are you all feeling? I trust it's been a good week and it's been a fruitful week for everyone. Thank you once again for joining. Today I have rather a very interesting and very important chat for you today. Very interesting and very important chat. I've got that for you today. Let's get straight into it. So I've titled my chat today, you can slash those debts, you can slash those bills, you can slash them. My chat usually is about budgeting, savings, and I do say everything in between because sometimes I do chat about random things. Yes, so you can slash those debts. Most of the things that I do talk about on here are things that I have done, things that I've used myself, and they have worked for me. And this is really mostly my own financial journey as well, my own journey to my own financial goals as well, that I am sharing different things that I've learned on the way and different things that I'm doing to help me improve in the way I do things. Or you can reduce the cost of your debt, really. That's what I'll be talking about today. And I'm going to be talking about the different types of debt, really. I will be talking about credit cards, overdraft and loans essentially today. So credit cards, overdraft and loans. So the first one, which is credit cards. The easiest way to kind of get rid of credit cards, even if you cannot afford to pay it all off every month or pay it all off and close it down, the easiest way to reduce or manage the debt on credit cards is actually to always stay on an interest-free overdraft. An overdraft that's interest-free on purchases and interest-free on transfers. I'll give you an example. If you've got a credit card with bank A that's got the 2.5 on it, if any other bank is doing a credit card that's interest free, that's not percent on balances transfer, switch that balance, switch everything to the new one. All you have to pay most times is a 3% handling fee or 4% handling fee. Is usually a lot less than the interest that you would have to pay if you stay with your existing credit card. It's usually a lot less. So that way, when you switch to the new card, you're actually paying off money that you owe and not just paying off interest. This is a really good thing. This is something I have actually used a lot. I would always switch to interest-free credit cards, interest-free on purchases, interest-free on balances, balance transfer. To be honest, I prefer the purchases. I would rather switch on I would take a purchase more than a transfer, to be a balance transfer, to be honest, on credit cards. So that's how to actually cut the interest on a credit card. We move on to overdraft. Overdraft, under the new rules coming in April, overdraft banks would have to charge a certain interest on overdraft. So that means that a lot of the overdrafts that people pay £1 a day or a fee a day would actually be going. Just this has been done just to regulate the market, just to make sure that it's just fair for everyone. So they are going to have to be charging interest on overdraft going forward from April. So if you've got an overdraft, what you can do, there are a few options. If you've got an overdraft that you cannot get rid of, there are a few options. There are some banks still offering interest-free overdraft, so you might want to look at banks that are offering interest-free overdraft if you still have an overdraft at the minute. So most of them are offering the interest-free for about a period of 1 year or 2 years, and there is I know that First Direct is offering £100. If you switch to them now, you can get £100 if you switch to them, and the overdraft as well is interest free. But there's certain things that has to be checked for you to get the maximum overdraft that you had before. But they are offering £100 to start with on the overdraft. So you might want to read the terms and conditions properly before you do switch to them, if you wanted to switch to them. Also, Nationwide Flex account is also offering interest-free overdraft for 1 year. So Nationwide Flex account, that's one of the bank accounts that I use, is interest-free for 1 year on the Nationwide Flex account at the minute. So your overdraft, if you've got overdraft at the minute and you wanted to reduce the cost of paying that overdraft, really, it would be it would be good to actually move to an interest-free overdraft. Another way to actually get rid of an overdraft is, because most overdraft costs typically about 15.9% APR, so you could get a loan that's at a lower interest rate to pay off the overdraft. So most loans would be between, maybe let's say 6.9, 10% APR. Most loans will be that rate. So at that way, actually, you are paying less to service that overdraft, so you could get a loan, clear off the overdraft, and start off again, really. And most banks now are offering loans at rates that are quite affordable at the minute. Yes, have a loan at the minute, or if you have a loan at the minute and you want to reduce the costs of actually borrowing that money, there are ways that you can do this as well. Mostly when people with loans, actually, if you're paying it off properly every month, it should have increased your credit rating. So you should be able to, not in all cases, but you should be able to get a loan that's cheaper, that's at a cheaper rate, if you have an existing loan that you have managed properly. The first thing, if you have a loan, the first thing to do is actually check what the settlement figure is with the existing lender. Check how much you need to pay off. Check if there are any early exit fees, because some lenders have huge penalties. Really it's quite costly to actually come out of some loans, so check that first. Once you have those figures, once you have the figure how much you need to settle that loan, once you know whether it's not going to cost you anything, then you look for a cheaper loan and find out the rate at which you borrowed that loan in the first place. Then you look for a cheaper loan to actually pay that existing loan off. That way you will be saving yourself money as well, on the new balance, on what's existing. You'll be saving yourself money. Let's say you have 1 year to pay it off, you might be able to pay it off in 6 months, because you would have saved yourself money by getting a cheaper interest rate on the loan. Yes, so that's another way to get, that's one of the easiest ways. Most loans, I know that Admiral at the minute, Admiral is offering a 2.8% on loans less than 3,000. So even if you have a credit card, most credit cards are typically 18.8 APR. If you have a credit card and you want to really get rid of a credit card, you can use this loan, this Admiral 2.8 or 3%, less than 3% loan, to actually get rid of that credit card. And having a loan, actually, I feel that is best for if you're budgeting or you're low income. Having a loan is a lot better, because with a loan you can budget. You know exactly how much is coming out every month. You know how much goes towards the loan. You are not in any worries that there might be an interest added onto you. There might be a late fee, which could happen with a credit card. So a loan is much better when you are actually on a budget or on a low income, so because you know where you are exactly at every single point in time. Before I end this chat, a few key things to actually note if you're trying to reduce the cost of your debt, if you're trying to reduce the cost of paying for money that you've taken out. A few things to actually note, really, and a few things are very important. Firstly, try and find out how much everything that's outstanding, everything that you're owing, try and put it together. It is very daunting and very difficult sometimes to actually put everything together. It could weigh you down. It's a difficult process, but you just have to do it. Try and find out everything, list out everything, and put it in order of priority. Like put the one with the highest interest rate on top, because you need to pay the ones with the highest interest rate first. They're costing you a lot more. If the interest rate is high, it's definitely costing you a lot more. So pay the ones with the highest interest rate first. That's one key thing to do. Once you've listed everything out, pay the ones with the highest interest rate first. Pay as much as you can afford to pay, not just the minimum on the ones with the highest interest rate. Got savings. This is a difficult thing for a lot of people, because we are quite attached to our savings. We've seen, most of us, because we've built up a savings over a period of time, there's a lot of attachment and we don't want to use it to pay off debt. I would strongly advise that if you have savings, use it to pay off debts, because it's costing you to actually keep owing that money. If you've got savings, pay it off and start your savings afresh. Then you know that your savings is your savings. You don't need it for any other purpose. You don't need it to pay off anything. So if you've got savings, really, you should be paying off debt, so that you're not accruing more costs while you've still got savings. So pay off as much as you can pay off, really. That's the best thing, because when you haven't paid off debt, it does affect your credit rating as well. Even though you've got savings, your credit rating might not be great, so it's best to always pay off debt first. My last and final thing about really getting off debt, that's something that really was very helpful to me, is actually budgeting. Budgeting, knowing what goes where and how. To budget, sometimes you might need more than one bank account to actually budget properly, because for myself, I've got an account that gets an account where the money is paid into, and an account that I use for expenses. Really, it's just been my own way of doing things. It's just easier for me that way. To budget, sometimes you do need to actually have a clearer picture. You need to be able to see things separately. So budgeting helps as well. It helps to get rid, because then if you know exactly what's going out, what's coming in, then you know what's left to actually help with crushing debts, what's left to actually pay off money that's outstanding in other places. Yes, so I hope with this I hope that this has helped somebody. Really, the first thing that I talked about was credit cards. If you've got credit cards with high interest rate, you might want to actually switch to another credit card with a lower interest rate that's got a free balance, 0% of balance transfer. You do have to pay an handling fee. Remember that. If you've got overdraft at the minute, the laws around overdraft are changing in April. Just in a few months, the next month really, the laws around overdraft are changing. So you might want to look at the overdraft, look at maybe getting an overdraft that's interest free, or look at actually getting a small loan to get rid of the overdraft if it's something that you're struggling to get rid of. If anything, 2020 has taught all of us that there's nothing that's guaranteed, really. There's nothing, things can just change at any time. So really, we should focus on making ourselves a bit debt free. That's the end of my chat today. Sorry, it's been a serious one really today, but yes. So for anybody that's really thinking about it, you should really get all your, it's a really tough thing to do, but you need to get all your debts together, have a look at everything, list them out in order of priorities. Really start from that. It's really daunting. I have been there before, so I can say it's not something that's easy to do, but you've got to do it. The earlier you deal with it, the better. Really, I have spoken to a few people before that wish that they actually took hold of things earlier on. The earlier you sort it out, the earlier you look at it, the better and the easier it becomes for you. It's a really tough process, but you've got to do it. Really, you've got to get it done. Really, there's no way. You cannot keep hiding away from them. You cannot keep chucking them in the bin. You cannot keep those letters like in the drawers. You've got to look at them, find out what it is really. And some of these creditors are willing to help. Really, if you feel that your situation, you might not be credit worthy to get another loan, another credit card, you should really speak to the National Debt Helpline. You should speak to agencies. Step Change, there's so many agencies that can help out there. They can help you go through the process. You won't have to go through it alone. There's a lot of help available out there. You just need to look for that help. You just need to come out and say you need that help. That's the first step, really. So anyway, I hope you all have a lovely week. Again, don't forget to subscribe. I will see you all very soon. Have a lovely week. Take care. God bless. Bye.